Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of Viva Broadcasts, the pilot. In this episode, directors Buddy Deshler, Sam Ambrose, and myself, Dakota Corbliss, discuss our plans for the first month of our broadcasts, a daily webinar series over the course of July. We will have all episodes from the month posted on our podcast page, as well as video versions on our YouTube channels, Fredericksburg Brass and Tidewater Brass. Some of them are easier to listen to with the visual element, and we'll let you know about those at the beginning of each episode. We hope you enjoy. Very cool. All right, so we are live here on the first Viva broadcast for the Brass Institutes of Virginia.
That was a nice name to it, Viva Broadcasts.
Yeah, Viva Broadcasts. It's very catchy. So what we're doing this month is basically the Brass Institutes obviously could not go on as planned this summer because of the coronavirus, and we still felt like we wanted to provide for our participants, our fans, our faculty, our artists, everybody who's been rooting for us in the past and will be rooting for us in the future. And we wanted to provide something for you guys to take up some of your quarantine time at home and also provide an educational experience, listening to some new recordings, guest artists, instructional videos, so on and so forth. So we have a month-long webinar series of a variety of things, focused mainly on brass, but there are a lot of other things that are happening that would be applicable to some of your other musician friends and artists. So if you want to spread the word to them as well, this is a 100% free and open to the public webinar series. So yeah, but if you want to kind of explain, let me introduce myself, by the way. I'm Dakota Corbliss. I'm the Director of Operations for the Brass Institutes of Virginia, which overarches both of the brass festivals, and I think Buddy will take over there, kind of explaining our purpose and mission.
Yeah, and I'm Buddy Deshler, comic relief, as well as the artistic director and co-founder for the Brass Institutes of Virginia. That's the Tidewater Brass Institute, as well as the Fredericksburg Brass Institute. So if this is the first time that you're seeing either of us or you're hearing about the brass festivals, just like a quick rundown of what that is. So in 2013, myself and Austin Boyer co-founded the Fredericksburg Brass Institute Summer Music Festival, Chamber Music Festival in Fredericksburg, Virginia, our hometown, where we have guest artists come in, present master classes and evening recitals as part of the Fred Brass Summer Concert Series. But we also have resident faculty artists that are coaching chamber groups, large brass ensembles, doing elective classes in their areas of interest and expertise, as well as teaching lessons. So it just becomes a week-long brass festival of performance and pedagogy. And then in 2017, going into 2018 was the first time Dakota Corbliss here, our horn faculty for the Fredericksburg Brass Institute, was also becoming a director, and we co-founded the Tidewater Brass Institute. So the same design, providing a rich immersion of brass chamber music and master classes for young brass players in his hometown of Norfolk, Virginia. So that's going to be, we would have had our third year of Tidewater Brass, and we would have had our seventh year of sixth, 7 year of Fredericksburg Brass. So once we decided that we were having two festivals, that's when we had the umbrella of Brass Institutes of Virginia, also known as BIVA.
BIVA, yes. So basically what we want to do today is kind of give you a rundown of all the things that we have planned for the month of July. And so hopefully the future as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the graphic that you can find on our Facebook and Instagram pages. But we will go through it step by step and give you a little bit of a preview of every session that we're doing. So hopefully this works. All right. So obviously today we have our announcement with myself and Buddy. And then on July 2nd, moving down, that is tomorrow, and that'll be at 10 a.m. You'll see a post about it coming over this afternoon. That the we have Sam joining us here now from Vermont. So tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we will be having a discussion with Chief Musician Jason Ayub, who is the principal horn player in the United States Navy Band in D.C., and Commander Mark Corbliss, who is the CO at the School of Music in Norfolk, Virginia, and we'll be talking about what you can do as a musician to join the Navy branch and how that can turn into a viable career for you. And then on Friday at noon, we will be doing our first BIVA premiere, which is essentially a recording project that the faculty for both of the brass festivals is putting together. And each Friday throughout the month, we will be doing a release of that recording that our own trumpet faculty, Derek Ganong, is putting together. And in terms of the audio, and then we'll be doing video as well. So that'll be really cool, and hopefully hopefully you'll enjoy it. I'm sure you will. So on July 6th, we have our euphonium faculty, Brianna Engelbert-Vogt, coming in to talk about her life as a high school band director in Tennessee and how she balances that with the performing career that she also has going on. Obviously, as a high school band director, you have almost no time throughout the day to get your chops up, but Brianna makes it work. She comes in every summer and does an incredible job at Fred Brass teaching our euphonium students, and I'm really interested to hear her take on how she balances all that stuff going on. On July 7th, we have now Dr. Kenneth Johnson, who will be coming in, and he will be giving a presentation on his practice routine and establishing a good practice method. On July 8th, we will have a video posting in the afternoon that Dr. Derek Ganong, our trumpet faculty, has put together about working with a very new popular digital audio workstation called Studio One by Presonus. And that'll be an all-intensive video on how to kind of set up a recording session of your own. I believe that there is a version of Presonus that is free. So if you want to download that before that session, so you can kind of work along with Derek on setting up your own recording session, I highly recommend that. On July 9th, we have an interview / Q&A with Joe Levinsky, who is the principal horn player in the Maryland Symphony Orchestra. Had a long career in the military bands in DC, and is also playing with, I think, the Ocala Symphony Orchestra in Florida, with Kenneth, I believe. So we'll be doing an interview Q&A, so make sure that you are on the Facebook pages there if you have any questions for him and his career. That would be great. On July 10th, another Friday, we have another BIVA premiere. On July 13th, we will have Dr. Timothy Shade, who is our resident conductor at Fredericksburg Brass, and he also teaches euphonium and conducts at Tidewater Brass as well. He will be doing a presentation on the modern conductor, which I think is going to be really, really interesting, talking about how that position and role has changed over the course of even the past couple decades. And so we're trying to get a couple other panelists on that as well. So that'll be really exciting. Like I said, not everything here is going to be just strictly brass, so make sure that you invite all your colleagues to check that out. On July 14th, we have Dr. David Cutler, otherwise known as the Savvy Musician. If you've read that book, this is him. He is coming on. He just made a video about classical music and creativity, and so we'll be posting that throughout the first couple weeks of the month, so you can get a look at the video, and then we welcome you to come on, and if you have any questions about it or anything like that, we'll be taking those as well. There'll be a panel for that discussion as well. Dr. Cutler is the head of entrepreneurship here at the University of South Carolina, and does a lot of different things across the world, talking about entrepreneurship and artistry and just making that cross-collaboration happen. On July 15th, we have Sam Huss, the principal trumpet player for the Richmond Symphony. He is also our trumpet faculty at the Tidewater Brass Institute, giving a discussion on staying motivated through cancellation. It's kind of an open-ended thing on preparation, practice, and that kind of routine. So we welcome you to that.
Hey, Dakota, do you want to take a quick break? Because you've been talking a lot.
I have been talking a lot, and I'm getting a little parched.
Take a little time out, and I could take over a little bit. You're doing so awesome. So then the next thing that we have is July 16th. We're on. It's an interview and Q&A with David Federle, who's principal tuba, all the Baltimore Symphony, orchestra, as well as a protege student of Arnold Jacobs. And he's also been a big time supporter and teacher to a lot of us faculty at both Fred Brass and Tidewater Brass. Then on July 17th, we have another Viva premiere. July 20th, Chamber Chats. That's with myself, Juan Barrios, and Gene Lawrence. Juan Barrios, horn player for Dallas Brass, and Gene Lawrence, our trumpet faculty and member of Seraph Brass. So we're going to be talking about chamber music as well as just being brass players and musicians, touring and being on the road. Speaking of brass players touring and being on the road, July 21st, like that segue I set up myself.
That's excellent.
Is an interview. It's like I've done this before, talking about myself. No, July 21st is an interview and Q&A with Andrew Hitz, Lance LeDuc, and J.D. Shaw, who were members of Boston Brass for a long time, as well as just all have been artists at both Fredericksburg Brass and or Tidewater Brass. So they'll be sharing fun stories about their time together and all of the music that they've made. On July 22nd, presentation on the sackbut by Dr. Mike Hall, trombone professor at Old Dominion University, which is also the host site of the Tidewater Brass Institute. And then July 23rd, Using Sequences in Your Practice by Will Baker, our bass trombone faculty from the Fredericksburg Brass Institute. Will Baker has been very successful in his Get Fluent sequences. He's on his website as well as on Instagram, providing educational and practice advice and tips through sequence playing. July 24th, Viva premiere, good. I'm not going to have to be online because it's my birthday on July 24th, so I look forward to getting a bunch of comments and presents. Then on July 27th, Navigating Higher Education, so college and academic life, with Dr. Jason Crafton, the trumpet professor at Virginia Tech, as well as Dr. Peyton Shelton, trumpet professor at University of Utah, as well as trumpet faculty at the Fredericksburg Brass Institute. July 28th, gives me enough time to recover from my birthday, is the Entrepreneurial Student, which is the music entrepreneurship class and lecture that I present at universities across the country. There's going to be some special guests that are going to be joining me, some fun entrepreneurs, but this is about empowering students and taking action and building a career while you're in school. So especially to college students, this is something to check out. Then on July 29th, Brass and Culture in College Athletic Bands. It's a panel discussion.
Let's see if Sam can give a little bit of insight into this.
Yeah.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, everybody who's going live. I'm calling remotely on the road somewhere in a mountain in Danby, Vermont. So our July 29th panel discussion, we're going to be having Dr. Andrea Brown, we're going to have Ricardo Brown, we're going to have Dr. Matt Stratton, and we're going to have a few more guests join a panel discussion talking about their brass pedagogy, any brass background that they bring to marching bands, and also the culture that they cultivate in college athletic bands.
Great.
So great. And then to finish out our month of July, we have on July 30th, Composition 101, Where to Start with Dr. Andrew Friedrichs, our trombone faculty at the Fredericksburg Brass Institute. Andrew, a phenomenal trombone player, has been a composer for years as well, and now his career is really taking off because he has written a duet method book for trombone, Warming Up Together, as well as he's written a lot of brass ensemble pieces that the faculty ensemble at Fredericksburg Brass has played. He's written one for the last since 2017. And we'll just continue to do that. So a take of being a composer, as well as a performer, as well as an educator, everything there. And then July 31st, closing Q&A with the directors of the festivals, myself, Sam Ambrose, and Dakota Corbliss. So also in the intro section, I think it's worth mentioning that there are 3 directors of BIVA, the Brass Institutes of Virginia, myself, Dakota Corbliss, and Sam Ambrose. We also teach the instruments that we're playing at the festival. So Dakota also teaching horn, and Sam also teaching tuba. And both Dakota and Sam have been a part of the Fredericksburg Brass Institute since 2014. And then because of their leadership, their entrepreneurial skills, and their passion for what these festivals are about, providing music education and musical opportunities two young brass players. They have stepped up through a higher leadership role and are now directors of both festivals too. So it's a full month hearing Dakota talk about it, hearing Sam talk about it, hearing myself talk about it. There are so many guests that are going to be joining us. There's so many great musical conversations that are going to be had. Just for everyone that's watching, we have a number of people tuning in. If you have any questions about the brass festivals, about what's happening this month, about just our roles as directors, please leave some comments. We have a couple that have left some comments, as well as if you or you know any brass players, musicians, or directors, music teams that you think would benefit from watching these broadcasts, please tag them in the comments below so they know to check this out. So just a couple of comments so far. Risha King, you guys rock. Risha, one of the owners of KBI Music Shop in Fredericksburg, Virginia, have been supporters of both festivals from the beginning. Patrick Casey, thanks Biva. These are terrific opportunities. Please, can you share the exact times for each day's live sessions?
Yeah, so we'll be posting a graphic each afternoon of the times that are happening the next day, but I can also make a different, basically I'll add on all the times that we have slotted right now. They might change based on people's schedules and that sort of thing throughout the month, but I will make another graphic similar to the one that you guys just saw, and I'll put all the times for the upcoming sessions on there as well, and we'll post that to both of our pages.
Yeah, and we'll be active in our posting as far as what's happening the next day, but there will be a way in which you can see everything all at once. We are posting and sharing based on Eastern Standard Time, since it is the Brass Institutes of Virginia, which makes sense
Not
for
Arizona.
also, but not Arizona, which is where I'm currently living. So I'm the one who just has to do some math here. But we've had participants from all over the country, as well as in Canada, coming to the festival. So our audiences, span pretty wide, but everything will be in Eastern Standard Time. Any other comments? Todd Oler says, "We love Dakota."
Oh, thanks, Todd.
Todd Oler, fantastic trumpet player, who's been also a Fred Brass Fellow for multiple years. So has been a leadership role from the participant side of the festival. Cougar Connolly, will the sessions be saved to view at later times if we miss the live streams?
Absolutely they will. So the purpose of these is to create educational content that's going to be live. So if you are available and want to check it out while we do it live, I think that's a really cool experience because you can interact with what's happening with the artists that we have on the panel. We'll always have between the three of us and our faculty, Dr. Kenneth Johnson, I'll get to him in a second, is also going to do moderating stuff. So we'll always have Facebook open. So if you guys have questions for the panelists, we'll be able to answer them live like we're doing right now. Now, if you don't get the chance or you have something going on that day, we will be saving all of these sessions and then repurposing them and then posting them on our pages as well as our YouTube channels. That way they can always be, going back for viewing later on. I know that I'm not sure how exactly this works with the Zoom meetings on Facebook if they expire after a certain amount of time, but these sessions are all being recorded. And so we will repurpose them as video files that you guys can check out later. So if you miss one, don't worry. We'll make sure that you can get it. There'll be a little bit of a turnaround on it, but it shouldn't be too long.
And once we repurpose the videos and bookend it, cut both sides, these will be uploaded to our YouTube channel that you can share, watch later. But I do encourage everyone to tune in live so that way there is a chance to ask questions, interact, and basically make the recording of what it is.
Yeah, you'll be on it. So
yeah, I feel like there was. If you do have comments or questions, depending on what page you are viewing this, like I shared this from Fredericksburg Brass's page to my personal artist page, make sure that all of your comments are on the original thread, which would be the Fredericksburg Brass Institute or Tidewater Brass Institute Facebook pages. So that way we can see them here as opposed to having to look at all of the different shared versions. So this will be the hub for all questions
exactly.
and comments.
I mentioned Kenneth earlier, so he will, as well as moderating a couple of the sessions that we went over earlier, Kenneth will also be doing a group warm-up session. I believe it'll be Monday, Wednesday, Friday starting next week. If that's wrong, I'm sure he will correct me. But just, keep an eye out for that kind of stuff, because he'll be leading those sessions, and I think he's going to have some artists on to lead those warm-up sessions throughout the month. It'll be kind of spontaneous, but there'll be warm-ups, so if you want to get your warm-up on with Kenneth in the morning, he'll be doing that throughout the month, so I'm sure that'll be great. Like I said, he's recently been doctored, so
he's been knighted.
He's been knighted as a doctor. So,
instead of a sword, it's a trombone slide.
So be sure to congratulate him when you get the chance. And yeah, if you know somebody that you'd like to have on in the future, obviously July is jam-packed with a ton of artists and stuff like this, but I think this is going to be something that the Viva broadcasts are going to continue into the future. If there's somebody that you really want to have on and want to hear some insight on during this really unusual time in our country, like, we would love to have them on. So please put us in touch, and we will try to make that work as best as possible.
Yeah. Speaking of, I guess the artists and stuff, one thing I'm just reminiscing about is especially when you started going down the list of everybody that's not just directly affiliated with the festival, meaning they're faculty of some kind, but all of the different guests and artists, is that since 2013 and the development and the start of Viva, there's been so many supporters and people that have gotten involved and have found a way to be affiliated with the festival. So not just the artists that have come in, but the students, the teachers of participants and everything. So all of these guests that we're having have some sort of direct connection to either the festivals or the people involved in the festivals. And it's just amazing to see the growth of support that has come from these just phenomenal world-class performers and educators that are now contributing and offering their time and experience, for all of us. So it's just really amazing to kind of look back and see all of the different, paths that have now met through Viva and because of Viva.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to note that you don't have to be a world-class performer or educator to be involved with us. We love all the support that we get from friends and family throughout the industry and people that are not even related to music at all whatsoever. So if you know somebody that wants to get involved with helping these Viva broadcasts happen or helping support the festivals that'll go on next summer, we would love to be in touch with those kinds of people, because there's a role for everybody here, and everybody's got a big part to play. So
yeah, we have programs in particular called the Fred Brass Ambassadors and the Thai Brass Ambassadors, and these are people that have found ways to help support the festival, whether it's financially with operations, whether it's through scholarship of particular participants, but we're growing an army for music education. So any way that you feel that you can help, not just the summer festivals, but also the communities that these festivals reside in. As Dakota said, that there's a place for everybody, and it's through our collective support that make things like this possible. So we have a couple other comments. Alex Hunter says, Sir Kenneth. Alex Hunter has also been a Fred Brass Fellow for the festival, trombone player, living in Tucson now. So we're not too far away from each other, he and I. As well as played on our faculty concert last year and did a phenomenal job. Cougar Conley says, repping Colonial Forge, Kenneth, an alumni of Colonial Forge High School. And then Derek Ganong says, what is a warm-up?
Well, that's just because, Derek's a robot and can pick up the trumpet and shred double C's. So that's what he does.
A warm-up, Derek, is where you plug in your interface and start charging, and you get a bunch of zeros and ones across your screen that end up, finally getting into the perfect A440 note. I'm sure you're familiar with.
Can't wait to see his reaction to that. So
yeah, so we do have a number of people still watching. So if you do have any last minute comments or questions, please do so at this time. Forever hold your peace, sort of idea. But are we missing anything, guys?
As far as I know, I think we're pretty good. final plug for tomorrow's session. That'll be a career as a Navy musician. And so Chief Ayub will be talking about his path into the DC Premier Band. And then Commander Corbliss will be talking about how you can rise through the enlisted ranks in the fleet bands. Both are incredible opportunities with a lot of stability and benefits. So I'll be really looking forward to having those guys on. That's at 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. If you have any questions about joining the Navy as a musician, please be armed and ready, and I'll make sure that we have them up and we can get them answered to the best of our ability.
Mm-hmm. So looking at the schedule ahead of time, if you do have some questions that you want to make sure are answered, especially if you're not able to tune into the live broadcast, please just send us a message either through the Facebook page that you're following, Fredericksburg Brass or Tidewater Brass, or our website, and we'll make sure that we get to that and get questions answered. So that's also a plug that if you are not following our social media accounts, now is a good time, just so you can stay tuned with everything that's happening. So Fredericksburg Brass, Tidewater Brass at ODU, and then our Instagram pages at Fred Brass, at Tidewater Brass.
Yeah, I think that's it. Sam, you need anything?
I need a shower and a nap, but otherwise we're pretty good. Pretty good over here.
Well, that's generally what tuba players need, so.
That's facts.
Derek
All
says,
right.
Thanks for the pointers, fellas. I know you
good. Now you can go warm up.
Yeah.
All
Awesome.
right. So I think that is all from all of us for the pilot episode of Biva Broadcasts. If I can get everybody's healthiest mouth trumpet noise.
Oh, yeah.
Buddy, you want to go first?
Yeah.
No, that's not. Oh, there it is. Oh, yes. All right, Sam. And then I'll go with a healthy. So,
Nice.
Be looking
What
forward
mouthpiece is
to.
that? What
It's a
mouthpiece are you
3C.
using? A 3C? It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah, standard. So if you are a incoming guest artist or panelist or whoever, just be prepared for that surprise. We'll be looking for all of your best mouth trumpet noises. So thank you for all for tuning in. We are really looking forward to this month of broadcasts, and hopefully there's something that catches your eye that we'll have you on for. If you have any questions or comments about the rest of the month or the future, we are happy to answer them, and we will see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. All right. Thank you. Thank you again to everyone for checking out our first episode. We will have plenty of incredible guest artist interviews, webinars, and presentations in the future, and hope that you can join us for those live on our Facebook pages, Fredericksburg Brass and Tidewater Brass Institute at ODU. If you would like your product or school to be featured on our broadcast, please reach out to me, Dakota Corbliss, Director of Operations, at dakota@fredbrass.com, and we'll be sure to set it up. Thank you all for listening, and see you next time.